Hello, welcome to Thor Talk, the show all about Marvel's resident God of Thunder. The Elder Gods will soon descend upon the earth, and Thor needs power to drive them back. Thor turns his attention to the Power Stone, but it's already in the possession of the new Prince of Power, and now an Elder of the Universe is also in pursuit. Soon, a god, an Elder of the Universe, and a living Infinity Stone will clash on Thor Talk.
I am Thor the Thunderer, son of Odin, prince of Asgard, and this world is under my protection.
The Immortal Thor Annual Number 1 was written by Al Ewing and was published in July of 2024. The story begins in the Casino Cosmico, where the undefeated battle monster, Kill Crab, enters the arena. He seems unstoppable, but he falls in less than 3 seconds. He is no match for an Elder of the Universe, Trico Slatteris, the champion of the universe. The champion's victory is quick, but he is not satisfied. He once wielded the Power Stone and could challenge beings like Galactus, but now he's sweating and fights with crab cyborgs. Trico Slatteris would seek out the Power Stone and regain his status as champion. Trico has a special bond with the Power Stone, and it is naturally drawn to him, but he has still managed to lose the stone multiple times. When Thanos first gathered the Infinity Stones to form the Infinity Gauntlet, he took the stone from Slatteris, and later on Titania stole it from him as well. Now Trico wants to get it back and put himself back on top. Trico is not the only immortal in search of the Power Stone. In Asgard, Thor tells Loki that he would seek out the stone. Thor's mother Gaia has opened the gate to the Utgard realm, and the Elder Gods could invade at any time. When Thor fought the Elder God Tornos, the Odin force was not enough to defeat him, and many lives were lost. Thor only barely managed to drive him back, and was only able to do so with quick wit, but he cannot rely on that anymore to stop the Elder Gods. The Enchantress has cast a spell on him that robs him of his wits when he's on the Earth. If he faces the Elder Gods on Earth, he will neither have the wit nor power to stand a chance, and Thor would remedy this. The Power Stone would provide a near infinite well of power, and that may help him prevail. This issue, like the other Infinity Watch annuals, mostly exists as an excuse to introduce these new Infinity Stone wielders, by having them interact with more well-known Marvel characters. Still, Ewing does a good job of getting Thor involved by using the larger Immortal Thor story. Thor's power is not enough to stop the Elder Gods, so he has to either rely on his wits or get more powerful. With the Enchantress's spell in play, he can't rely on his wits, so the latter makes more sense. Thor is actually one of few beings to have already used the Power Stone, as he took it from Drax the Destroyer and used it when he went mad in a rampage across the cosmos in Thor: Blood and Thunder. Still, there are some pretty glaring issues with Thor's logic here in seeking out the Power Stone. As we'll soon see, the Power Stone is linked to how well one uses their mind, so it doesn't really make much sense for Thor to seek out a power that is specifically linked to his mind, if that's the issue to begin with. Still, Al Ewing created Prince Other One, who is the wielder of the Power Stone, so I can understand why he would want to write about him again. And even though it's not perfectly thought out, I appreciate that there is an attempt to justify this tie-in. Loki tells Thor that the stone can be found in possession of Prince Other One, the new Prince of Power. On Zundergax 4, some alien thugs attempt to steal the valuable car of an innocent civilian. Other One was watching, and he nobly descends in a Dark Knight Returns pose. The impact of his landing knocks the thugs aside. Other One gets off the crushed car and tells the badly injured civilian that he is going to teach these thugs not to harm civilians. Laser bullets are fired, but the mighty hero is unharmed. The shocked thugs ask who this hero is, and he proudly tells them as he defeats them. He used to be called the Prince of Power, but he gave up that name since Hercules was already using it, and you can't have two heroes running around with the same name. Ask all the great heroes like Captain America, Spider-Man, and Hawkeye. So Prince Other One gives himself a new name, Power Stone. Prince Other One, now Power Stone, is a relatively new character with a surprisingly tragic backstory. In the land of Musala, two princes were born. One was powerful and heroic, and the other was the Other One. While his brother went off on He-Man parody adventures, Prince Other One was an ordinary paperclip sorter. until the Power Stone appeared to him and he accidentally ate it. This gave him tremendous power, but that power would only grow as his mind grew. However, the dull Prince Other One ignored this and instead focused on thinking as little as possible, instead focusing on strength and muscles. This created a direct link between himself and the Power Stone, which meant that he was more or less an extension of it. Instead of increasing his own power, he increased the power of what he touched. His failure to use his mind ended disastrously when he used a supercharged sword to destroy the evil part of his planet. However, he didn't realize that this would destroy the entire planet. Prince Other One obliterated his homeworld and killed everyone he loved. He was rescued by the mercenary Blackjack O'Hare, but the guilt of what he's done still torments him. If he ever took the time to think about it, he'd go mad with guilt. So he thinks it's better to stay stupid than go mad. So Prince Other One is primarily a comedic character, but one with a surprising amount of depth. However, we won't see much of that depth in this issue. Other One will soon realize that maybe it wasn't such a good idea to call himself Power Stone. The champion of the universe has found him. Trico isn't the only one who's tracked him down, though. Thor speaks with Other One's employer, Blackjack O'Hare, who tells him about his new name and how his antics have been hurting business. Power Stone crashes into Blackjack's office, and Thor goes to the doorway to meet the champion of the universe. Trico recognizes Thor and asks him to step aside so he can reclaim his Infinity Stone. He says this will only take a moment, and that he can recommend a cleaning service for all the blood. Such a service will not be required, rogue. For Thor shall be wiping the floor with thee! When I get up, I'm going to... When you arise, will be at a time of my choosing. The champion lays beneath Mjolnir, cursing the hammer and saying that it is cheating, just as it was cheating to use it when they first met. Trico is referring to his first appearance in Marvel 2-in-1 Annual number 7, when he summoned and fought many of Earth's heroes. Thor was the first to fight, but Trico ended up disqualifying him for throwing his hammer. This rule wasn't clearly established, and Trico would go on to disqualify other strong fighters for trivial reasons, such as disqualifying the Hulk because Trico didn't want to touch a mindless beast. Maybe Trico genuinely does think that Mjolnir is cheating, but he does have a tendency to not do so well when the odds aren't stacked in his favor. The champion asks why the hammer is so heavy. Thor tells him that it can only be lifted by the worthy, and to the unworthy, it is as heavy as it needs to be, as dictated by the power imbued by Odin and now by Thor himself. Hearing the word power, Prince Other One rushes to help. Thor tries to stop him, but cannot before Power Stone touches Mjolnir. There is a burst of energy and a hole in the floor where the hammer used to be. The enchantment of Mjolnir means that it will be just too heavy for the unworthy to move, but an overpowered enchantment goes further. It crushes the worthy beneath its weight, and even counts floors as unworthy. Thor manages to alter the enchantment mid-fall to make floors worthy, but the champion managed to get free in the fall. Other One gives infinite power to anyone he touches when his mind is clear, and if he's unconscious, his mind is more clear than ever, giving the champion access to his power. Let the battle be joined then. To me, Mjolnir! The hammer is still overpowered, it seems. Ow. The champion of the universe then hits Thor with a Power Stone amplified punch. Thor may have died if he didn't have the all-power, but Mjolnir has been so supercharged that it might do just as much damage to him if he tried to fight with it. Thinking quickly, Thor realizes that he shouldn't attempt great deeds, but very, very small ones. Mjolnir, do a meager favor for thy master, and summon a single raindrop. A single raindrop, but done to the extreme, and it is enough to awaken an unconscious Power Stone. Thor tells Power Stone that the true measure of a hero is in pushing past one's limits, but also in doing the opposite. Power Stone attempts to understand the meaning in Thor's words. He thinks really, really hard about it. Tush rhymes with push, so maybe his glorious glutes are the solution. No, he's flexing them as hard as he can, but nothing's happening. Wait, the opposite of push is pull, so he needs to... Thor tells him to keep thinking because it's draining the power out of the champion. Power Stone keeps thinking, and in doing so, the power is returning to him, until eventually, the champion falls to the ground defeated. Power Stone is happy that he's prevailed, but he decides to change his name to Apex, since he's less likely to get killed. Blackjack doesn't care about his name at this point, and fires him, since he's destroyed their apartment, and Thor is probably going to sue them for his medical bills. Thor reassures Blackjack that he can easily heal himself with the All-Power, and he offers to let Blackjack stay in Asgard. But Apex is another matter. He cannot be parted from his Infinity Stone easily, so instead Thor will send him to a city of heroes, where he can learn responsibility, and Thor can keep an eye on him. Thor opens a portal sending Apex to New York City. As I said earlier, this annual is mostly just a way to introduce these new Infinity Stone wielders to new readers, and that definitely comes across here. When I saw Thor's explanation for why he was seeking the stone, I thought this would be a legitimate chapter of the Immortal Thor series, because, Power Stone logic aside, it did make sense. But it seems like this is nothing more than an event tie-in that will have nothing to do with the main story. It's just a fun little story that is there to check off a box for an event. It's entertaining enough, but it wasn't really for me, and it became pretty clear that it's more of a Prince Otherone issue than a Thor comic. One thing I will say that I really enjoyed, and that Ewing has been doing a great job of, is having Thor use his intelligence to win fights. He incapacitates the champion by putting Mjolnir on him, and when Mjolnir's power becomes a weakness, he quickly comes up with a plan to defeat Trico without even landing a single hit. Still, at the end of the day, it's a forgettable tie-in comic that you can take or leave. I really am excited for the next issue though, which will be the debut of the new series artist and will guest star one of my favorite Marvel characters, Hercules. Well, that's all for this episode of Thor Talk. I hope you enjoyed it. I nearly didn't make a video on it because it had so little to do with the series, but at least it's covered just in case. With that being said, see you next time on Thor Talk, where
You'll behold in breathless wonder